Good morning. Coming to you live from Nasdaq's global headquarters in Lower Manhattan. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Advisory Live. We're powered by Nasdaq IR Insight, and I'm your host, Will Briganti, and joining me today is Michael Spector. Michael is an analyst with Nasdaq Advisory Services, and he's a specialist in the real estate and real estate investment trust sectors. Michael, it's great to have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So a lot happening right now with REITs.
Yes.
And with the financials,
Yes.
but let's focus on real estate and REITs for today's segment. What are some of the sort of top headlines that your team is seeing right now?
Well, we just got done with 3Q earnings.
Yep.
Most of the headlines say earnings were positive, but they were mixed. About 50% of REITs beat top line FFO. We had about 20% missing, and the rest in line. So mixed compared to what we've seen in the past. So we've definitely seen a continuation of large performance gaps between different property sectors, both from a pricing standpoint and a volume standpoint. And there have been some big M&A headlines.
That's right. Yeah. So Brookfield and GGP just
Brookfield
recently.
and GGP. Yeah. So about a year ago, GGP exercised its warrant right. Brookfield exercised its warrant right in GGP.
Yeah.
They already own about 1/3 of the company.
Yeah. So they made a bid for the rest of it.
They made a bid for the rest of it. I think the valuation for the bid was about $23 a share.
Okay.
That has been a big headline, a big tailwind for the space. We definitely see high volume across the space in GGP's peer group, following some underperformance of that sector. Definitely opens the door for speculation about future deals.
Okay.
As you know, the sector is very undervalued right now. For REITs, we look at net asset value as the main valuation metric. And right now we're trading, I think the weighted average for the mall group is about 35% discount to intrinsic value or NAV. And it's basically creates, whenever you hear about the gap between the private and the public markets, there's been a big gap created, which kind of opens the door.
And has there been any sort of more chatter about the transformation of, like, for example, mall space into data centers or other sort of repurposed use?
Right.
Yeah. Is the investor getting that story? Do they get that?
The investor is getting that story. If you are a retail owner, any sort of property owner, and you own the box,
right.
The box could have multiple uses.
Sure.
With a bit of CapEx and some redevelopment, you could take an underperforming retail center and turn it into something to meet demand of other spaces. So I think that's one of the points that some of these investors are trying to make to unlock value.
Okay.
And there's some potential for repurposing of vacant space going forward.
Okay. My final question for you for today is, what should investors that follow REITs be looking for the remainder of the year? Obviously, what's Q4 going to look like?
I think it's going to be a noisy
shaping
Q4.
Up to be noisy Q4.
We monitor this. I want to focus on retail. We monitor all of the property sectors very closely, but there's definitely some looming activism situations going on in retail right now. Okay. I mean, the best way to say it is the disconnect between public and private market valuations have really opened the doors for activists to come in and pose for changes on a corporate level. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of headlines trickle in from 13Ds being filed and activists coming in. And there used to be one prolific REIT activist, and now we're starting. I think we're going to start seeing some more household names from a corporate activism perspective coming in.
Michael, I appreciate that insight. This is terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
I think we'll leave it there for today.
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Michael Spector. He's a senior analyst at Nasdaq Advisory Services covering the real estate investment trusts sector. For more information about Nasdaq Advisory Services and all of the work that Michael and the rest of his team do, be sure to visit our corporate website. It's business.nasdaq.com. We'll be back with another episode of Advisory Live later this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right.